TC Spiritual Shepherd here. Welcome back to the channel, guys. Today we're going to be getting into personalities and personal reality. So ultimately, Dr. Joe Dispenza talks about this, where it is your personality and your personal reality are actually interconnected. So your environment, or what I call environmental auras. You have an auric space, which is made of the rainbow, or your chakra colors, or solfeggio frequencies or numbers. And from this aspect, what you are doing is you are interconnecting with the world around you, and you are essentially creating boundaries, and you are creating attractions, additions, or subtractions, and repelling. So you're creating boundaries, what you allow in and what you choose to reflect, attract, and many other different things. So ultimately boundaries, and this is emotionally, this is how you act. So what you say, what you do, how you live, and then ultimately your emotions and your thought forms as well. So we're going to kind of get into some of this. This is not going to be a long video at all, but I want you guys to understand that your personality creates your personal reality. This is a very big thing. So a lot of people don't like their personal realities right now, or the majority of people don't really like their personal realities right now. So from this aspect, they also do not like their personality to some degree, whether it's subconscious, whether it's unconscious, or whether it's actually conscious. They know that they do not like themselves. It comes from creating a new life and a new reality, but by inherently changing themselves. You guys have heard that whole thing. If you want to change the world, then you have to change yourself. If you want to change something else outside of you, first change yourself, and then, or change your perception on those things, and then inherently you'll have a different outlook and outcome and perception or perspective on that external environmental aura, that external environment. So let's kind of get into this. To transform from your old self to a new self, this requires us to become conscious of all of the unconscious thoughts, automatic behaviors, routines, emotional reactions, or rituals that we have been conditioned to. So a lot of people have habits that they actually don't like to be habitually constructed to, and they need to habitually reconstruct their habits. They need to go through a transformation of their habits. They need to alchemize their habits to evolve. They need to go back to the basics, per se. Now, this is also kind of somebody's personality. Your personality is whatever or whoever you think that you are. So a lot of people have an interconnection with their ego and their environment. So they say, I am my job, I am this amount of money, I am this name, I am this date, this birth date, different things like this. And this actually misconstrues who you really are, which is you observing your ego. And this is a big thing that kind of confuses people. So a lot of these people generally tend to lack imagination because they're so identified with the physical reality. They don't tend to think of themselves as spiritual beings. They don't think that their spiritual being is connected with the grand spirit, the great spirit, the Holy Spirit. Okay, so we're going to kind of get into this, guys. So your personality is made up of how you think, how you feel, and how you act. This is your state of being. So ultimately, to reconstruct your personal reality, you would have to reconstruct your personality, which is how you think, how you feel, and how you act. This is a lot of the stuff that I talk about in my course and other different types of things like this. This is just a general overview. This is why this is free content. But ultimately, guys, if you change the way you think, if you change the way you act, if you change the way you feel about yourself and other people, if you change the way you think about other people, and you actually transform that, you alchemize from how you used to, you have mercy, you forgive them, you have compassion, you are empathetic towards them, and to yourself, you forgive yourself, you're empathetic, you're compassionate, all these different things, and you transform that version and that state of being through your thinking, your feeling, and your acting, through your emotive, or what you emote, your emotions, what you emit. Okay, this is all frequency, and this is all vibration and energy. Okay, so ultimately, if you change the way you think, you have brain waves. You have different brain waves. Okay, so if you change the way you think, and you change the way how you think, why you think that way, then that is ultimately going to create your reality. If you change your actions, we already know this one is this one's very studied. When you change your actions, so if you wake up earlier, there's plenty of studies that if you wake up earlier, you tend to be more successful than people who sleep in. If you generally have a drive, or you have a motive, or you have a reason or a why. A lot of people in the entrepreneur realm, such as myself, we have a why. And the reason why you have a why is because that encourages you to wake up. That inspires you to wake up, inspires you to grow, inspires you to adapt. And as you wake up earlier, as you go to the gym, as you eat cleaner, as you build strict boundaries per se. As you build boundaries, you are saying, this is my personal reality. This is what I allow into my environmental aura. This is what I allow into my aura, what I allow into my space. And that is also your home. Your home is your homeostasis environment. And you ultimately want the home to be at the highest vibration of what you are emitting naturally. Okay. And so by changing the way you think about other people and yourself, by changing the way that you act about yourself and how you act about how you act through your actions with certain people, with other people, etc. Same with how you feel and how you transform and you feel about other people. This will transform. So ultimately, guys, start calendarizing yourself, start schedulizing yourself, start organizing yourself, okay? And start transforming and actually believing that you are capable of the highest version that you've always wanted to be. Okay, and then the thing is start living as that person now. Don't say, I'm going to be this person in the future. I'm going to be an entrepreneur in 3 years. Don't say that. You start cultivating how to be an entrepreneur now. Or let's say, I want to be fit in 3 years. Don't put it off 3 years, because then right now you are implying and you are assuming that, well, in 3 years I'll be there, so I don't have to be there right now. See, and the now is the only time that truly exists, and we've studied this in quantum physics. So bringing and forgiving the past, forgiving your old emotions, forgiving your old thoughts, forgiving your old actions, also forgiving yourself for putting off and procrastinating your old thoughts, your old actions, your old feelings, and or your new feelings or whatever and start living as that being now. That is how you ultimately transform, like literally. So ultimately, as you transform and you start to cultivate your personality, this will transform your personal reality. Peace, much love, namaste.